So over the last several days, I've had a lot of comments about Sea of Thieves I've been making on Twitter, and then I've also got a lot of replies from people who say that they can't understand why I'm talking so much about Sea of Thieves when I don't like the game. The problem is I never said I didn't like the game. That was just your own biases kind of stepping in. In fact, I've said the complete opposite. I said multiple times that this game, I believe, has amazing potential. And I don't say that about very many games. I love the graphics. I love the setting. I love the base foundation. But there is a problem when the biggest compliment that you keep hearing about the game is that it has amazing water. Like, you don't hear that it has incredible gameplay. You hear that it has incredible water. So we got to call a spade a spade. And Sea of Thieves, in its current form, should be a free-to-play or $20 game at most. And again, that's in its current form. It was hyped up as a AAA experience, and what Rare delivered was an early access game experience. And I don't know how you can play this and compare it to another title for $60 and see them as equal, at least with most games that are AAA. I played the alpha, I played the beta for months. I was going into this thinking there was going to be more. There had to be more. And I made concerns known beforehand about this game that the only thing that I was concerned about was the content. And people were like, oh no, there's going to be tons of content. You know, it's just an alpha, it's just a beta. There's going to be a lot more. Well, it turns out there wasn't a lot more. And so it's basically the same game that has been for months. So I don't know what they've been doing. But the whole game is based around getting customizations, yet the customizations are extremely limited. They built a pirate game where you're out on the ocean and you only have 2 ships to choose from currently. Like, how? And then you've got 3 quests that are the exact same thing over and over and over. They're all fetch quests. So imagine that Sea of Thieves wasn't on the sea and that it was on land. And so you're playing a game where 95% of the game is driving from one location to the other to drop off supplies. And each one of these trips takes you around, 15 to 20 minutes each. You would play that game and you would think, this is terrible. There's not a whole lot here. And yet, that's basically what Sea of Thieves is. The only difference is you're actually on a ship instead of driving around on land on a car. And so I keep hearing people say that this game, it's meant to get better over time, Dragon. It's meant to be better with DLC. It's meant to be paired up with DLC. Okay, I agree. Like, I think this game will get a whole lot better. So you're actually agreeing with me that in its current state, it's not finished. It's early access. So why did they charge a full price for this game? And don't say plenty of games released with DLC being worked on. Of course, that's true. The difference is that a lot of those games still feel like a complete experience once you're done with the base game before you get to the DLC. And those that don't get the same complaints that Sea of Thieves does. So the only reason why I'm going hard on Sea of Thieves is because I want this game to be good. Like, if I didn't like the game, if I didn't care about it, I would just bash it and say, that was junk, just stay away. But the point is, I see the potential, and me and my friends, we had a ton of fun the first few hours before they saw how basic and empty everything was, and then they've already dropped the game and moved on to something else. And that's a problem, because if enough people do that and they say, you know what, this grind, it just isn't worth it. It isn't worth spending a week carrying chickens back and forth just so I can rank up to rank 50 being a merchant, and I'm going to go do something else with my time. So if enough people do that and they leave the game, do you really think that there's going to be an incentive for them to keep dropping money and resources on this game? Of course not. So you need people to stay in. We're only a week out, and we got probably a long way to go before we start getting some real big DLC in this game. So the criticism is out of love. And I'm also criticizing it because I don't think this is good for the future of gaming if gaming as a service is the future. If this is what they mean by gaming as a service, to release a incomplete game for a AAA price and say, hey, we're just going to finish it later down the road, I don't think that's good. And on Twitter, you know, I've got the same defense force who's always there defending everything about, you know, a certain brand, just as there's people on the other side defending everything about another certain brand. And they're saying, Dragon, why are you even saying anything about the $60 price tag when 90% of the people bought the game on Game Pass? So why are you complaining about a small minority of people? And, I mean, to that, I'd say, did you read the headlines today? Because a lot of people did end up buying the game. And how can you say, you know, screw them, I'm only worried about me, when a lot of people purchased the game? They're saying that it's the fastest selling new IP on Xbox. Not that that's saying a whole lot. It's not like there was a whole lot of competition with new IPs on Xbox this generation. But still, that doesn't include Game Pass numbers. So yeah, a lot of people did end up buying this game. And so I know that there's going to be some people who will say, you know, I feel like I got my money's worth. I feel like I got my $60 worth. But for every person who says that, I bet there's 10 people who didn't feel that way. And just because people had an option not to buy the game, it doesn't negate the people who did buy it and who went in thinking that they were going to get a AAA experience. So unless you're happy that people are overspending and paying $60 for a mostly empty world with very little to do aside from the grinding same exact fetch quests over and over, then stop defending it. Because what you're doing is you're asking developers and you're begging them to give you more games where they charge a AAA price and give you an early access experience. So again, I want this game to be good. I want it to succeed. And that's why I'm not going to sit here and shill for it in its current form. And you shouldn't either. That does it for me, the Red Dragon. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.